Welcome to my channel. My name's Shans, and today is what I'm going to call a low effort video. I've been pretty busy at work, and also I got a couple board game events tomorrow. I got a full day of gaming planned, and I needed to learn some rules, so really not a whole lot of time for video production. And also I'm trying to learn a new video software called DaVinci Resolve. It's a little more complicated than what I've been working with so far, but I really want to improve my cinematography and kind of my production value of these videos. If you want to check out like Whale Riders or Mirai, like those are kind of some test cases with those intros and see if I would enjoy doing this. I think I do. So, yeah, if you want to, go and check out those videos, like and subscribe over on those ones. Those are the ones that deserve it. This video probably doesn't deserve it, but people love these videos. So whatever, we'll see how this goes. Because, like I said, I got a game swap tomorrow, and I am going to be getting rid of some board games. So this video is what games are leaving my collection. Super exciting, right? And as I mentioned, low production value. So I got like a border collie over here. Archer, come here, come here. Okay, come here, come here. Look at this, look at this. He will not stop. He's gonna wanna play with me the whole time while I'm out here. This is why I have my studio. So yeah, we're just gonna see how this goes. Let's do it. So number one board game in my collection here, we got Jekyll and Hyde versus Scotland Yard. Now, I actually really like this game. This is a fantastic trick taker. This is a co-op trick taker where you and your partner are going to be working on capturing a kind of like balancing out your tricks over the course of the game, and then you also you're trying to escape Scotland Yard. Scotland Yard is going to be taking tricks. The coolest thing about this game is that you're going to be dealt a hand of cards at the end of the game, and you have to take a selection of those cards and you got to put those into the Scotland Yard deck. So you're basically designing what your enemy can do in this game, which is, it's incredible. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic design choice. With the trick taker, also the abilities in this, like there's a color ranking system that's kind of like Trump, but more interesting. And then there's potions that allow you to kind of change up the game and reduce that randomness a little bit if you manage to trigger those potions. The only reason this is leaving my collection is because my friend and I have completed the campaign, except for I think it was Chapter 8. Chapter 8 I think has a rules error that I posted about on BGG. So yeah, check that out. I haven't gotten a response on it yet. But other than that, I absolutely love this game. Like, this is fantastic. I'm kind of sad to see it go, but it's just one that, yeah, once you complete a campaign game, it's like, I'm not really going to revisit this ever again. So that's Jekyll and Hyde versus Scotland Yard. Next up, we have Fliptoons. So Fliptoons I actually have done a review of, and I felt like I was relatively positive about it, although I think the end may have been a little more negative than I intended. Fliptoons I actually think is a really interesting little deck builder. It leans into the randomness of deck building. It basically has you build your deck, and then you're just going to flip your cards over into a grid, and they're going to score a certain amount of points based on how they land in that grid. I think that this is actually fun. The artwork is entertaining. It has that I want to say that Cuphead style, to the art in it, and I think that for a family weight deck builder, this is fantastic. It's just one that's not going to hit my table very often. I like my deck builders have a little more decisions to it. Like, I like Clank. I like to have that movement puzzle associated with the deck builder, or Time into the Underdark, where you have that area control portion with the deck builder. So this one is really just it is 100% deck building with that randomness associated with it. Hey, Archer. Can you stop chewing on your toy, please? I'm recording a video. Here, you can have it. Yeah, so that's Fliptoons. I really like this one, but yeah, it doesn't hit my table ever, so it is going to be leaving my collection. Next up is Volanomo. So Volanomo is actually a really nice little shedding game. I feel like number 3, man, this is I'm not giving any negative thoughts on these games, yet they're leaving my collection. That is, it's making me a little sad. Volanomo this is Bruno Cathala, I believe, who super interesting designer if you look him up. He's got some other fun games out there, and I've actually had a lot of fun with this deck builder. I actually had a shedding game, not deck builder, that was Fliptoons. Shedding game, I have played this at 2 players with my wife quite a bit. She really enjoyed it, and she's not a board gamer herself. I do find it higher player counts, well, even lower player counts. It's got a decent amount of luck associated with it, which, I feel like Scout is the more gamery shedding game than Volanomo, but I do think Volanomo is still a really fun design. I've had a lot of fun with this one, and I'm kind of sad to see it go, but it's just one that, like I said, it hasn't hit my table in a long time now, and I think I prefer Scout as a shedding game over Volanomo. Next up, Deep Sea Adventure. So this is this is another fun little game. Like this is a great little push your luck game. I really enjoy this one. It plays up to 6 players, and essentially this is a roll and move game where you're going to roll and move your little diver down, and if you land on a treasure spot, you can pick up a treasure. But each treasure you carry is going to reduce your movement value and also increase the amount of air that your person uses. So every player, you're sharing an air supply with the same submarine. You have 25 air points, and basically once someone picks up a piece of treasure, that air is going to start depleting. So you need to turn around and get back. The problem is that when you pick up that treasure, you're now reducing your ability to move back. So you have to kind of balance that, well, I guess push your luck and decide on how much treasure you think you can carry, which is slowing down your movement and consuming air, while other people are picking up treasures and slowing down their movement and consuming that air. So I find it just to be an entertaining push your luck game. But as a dice rolling little random luck style game, like Paku Paku has replaced this for me. I would rather bring Paku Paku to the table. Has more excitement to it. I feel like there's a little bit of downtime in this one that I don't appreciate in kind of this light box game where you're waiting for someone to roll their dice and move. Not a whole lot of downtime. I still think this is a lot of fun. It's worth playing. Like this is a great little push your luck game. But as a filler, Paku Paku has superseded Deep Sea Adventures. All right, next up, let's do, why I forget, what is this called? Deep Space 6, DSD 6, Deep Space D6, that's the name of it. There we go, nailed it. See, like I said, low production value. This is a solo game, and it is basically, you have a spaceship. There's actually a few different spaceships in here with a few different abilities in here, and you're going to be rolling a set of D6 dice to activate the various zones of the spaceship. They have various like jobs. It's kind of like a, I don't know, like a worker placement with like special dice set for the worker placement. While I do feel like this is kind of entertaining, it's too light for a solo game for me. Like I don't feel like I had a whole lot of decisions. It's kind of like I rolled the dice and they kind of self-assigned themselves. Like it was like, oh yeah, you belong here, you belong there. Okay, I'm done. Move on. So unfortunately, I just found a Deep Space D6 pretty boring as a solo game. I would say if you're looking for a more engaging solo game, like I did a review on Food Chain Island, I would recommend that one over DS6 or DSD6. Man, I can't even say it. Or Rove from Button Shy, or Food Chain Island, which I also did a review on from Button Shy. Man, yeah, and then if you want a space themed one with like that alien style thing or Space Invaders, man, Under Falling Skies is phenomenal. So unfortunately, this one just didn't have enough of a decision space to really keep me engaged during the game. I felt like it took too long for what it was. It was just rolling dice, assigning the dice, and I was like, oh, this is really just dragging for me. So yeah, this one's leaving my collection. It was fine, but nothing to write home about, right? All right, next up is Naishi. So Naishi is another one that I recently did a review on, and I was kind of down on this one. So this is one where it's a 1v1 game where you're going to be building out your village, and your village is this grid of cards. So you have a row of 5 cards in front of you, and those 5 cards are your front row that is visible to the other player. Then you have your hand of 5 cards, and that is the second row of your grid. You cannot actually reorder this grid. You have to stage in your hand, and you're not allowed to just move it around freely. So that's kind of the interesting part of this. And then you're trying to recruit these cards into your village basically to score more points by the end of the game. It's kind of like Castle Combo, where you're going to score points based on the position of these cards in your final grid. And then you have this thing where there's a couple interesting mechanics in there with this emissary token that you can send out to kind of switch the placement of cards around or to potentially steal a card from your opponent. It's kind of neat, but I felt like the end game scoring, where we just go through and we go through that scoring sheet, that's one of my pet peeves in the game, when I feel like end game scoring is just taking too long. So yeah, I felt like this game wasn't worth the effort. That's kind of how I would sum it up. Perfectly fine game. I think it has an interesting mechanic. It doesn't feel very aggressive to me for a head-to-head game, which is probably a downside for me. I like my head-to-head games to be a little more direct conflict. So that's probably why this one's leaving my collection, is due to that kind of little more indirect conflict, plus that scoring component at the end. Like calculating the scores. It's just one of my pet peeves. So if you want to learn more, check out my review of Naishi. Next up, we've got The Hunt. This one, well, I'm kind of sad about this one. This is a salt and pepper game, and I usually love salt and pepper games, and I actually had a decent time with this one. It's not one I would recommend, though. Unlike some of the other games I mentioned, like, this has a nice little cat and mouse thing where you are going to be, one of you is playing as, like, the Germans, one of you is playing as maybe the British or something, I want to say. That sounds right. And the Germans are trying to, like, destroy cargo vessels, and they're going to achieve victory by destroying a certain number of cargo vessels, and the British are trying to find the submarine, but the submarine's hiding on this map, on this hex-based map, and the British are trying to make sure those cargo vessels make it to the correct ports, or make it to the ports in time or whatever before they get blown up. Overall, I find the cat and mouse part of this to be a lot of fun. Like, I find it super interesting. The problem I had with this game was really the end game. So once the British manage to find the Germans, once they find that U-boat out in the water, you enter the final phase of the game, which is the combat. And this is going to be determined by the cards you're holding. There's also like a thematic ending where if the players are holding a certain set of cards, like that could change the end game. Like if you're holding the right cards, you can kind of cancel out the other player's super powerful card. And it's kind of interesting, but I felt like that end game combat, it really just, I don't know, it landed kind of flat for me. It really didn't engage me by the end game. It kind of was a little predictable because it's kind of like if you drew that card that was specifically for that end game phase, you were kind of like, well, I'm going to hold on to this card because this is kind of what the game is driving me to do. Like it wants me to have this card for the end game, so I'm going to keep it and play it when the game wants me to play it. So yeah, I felt like the cat and mouse, I really, really like that one. I just wish there was a little more something, a little more engagement in that final battle of this game. So Hunt, interesting, but it just felt like it was flawed in a way. So that one's going to be leaving my collection. Next up, first big box, Oak. So Oak is this is one I picked up because of what it was, So Very Wrong About Games. They actually ranked this one pretty highly. Now I do feel a little bad about getting rid of this game because the publisher, we got Game Brewer here, they have gone out of business, and so this is not going to be available anymore. This one it just didn't land for me though. It's kind of like a little more of it's like a Euro worker placement. It has some really interesting mechanics in there where essentially you're going to send your worker out to a specific spot, but you have to play a card associated with that spot to determine what abilities you're going to activate. And then also there's like this, you're trying to climb up this tree. There's a little bit of race component trying to get up this tree. And then you can also upgrade your workers. You can buy these upgrades and this you can actually dress up your little druid characters, your little meeples. You get to put a little thing on them and they're like, oh, I got a sash now and I can do something special because I got my sash on. So some really interesting ideas in Oak. I find it to be, yeah, it's kind of like one of those games where it's like fascinating thinking about from a design perspective. But in the gameplay perspective, I don't know, it didn't feel interactive enough to me. It felt kind of dry. It just didn't, it didn't really grab my attention. So Oak is leaving my collection. All right, last one on the menu for today, and that is Moon Colony Bloodbath. Yeah. I made a review of this one. This is one of my earlier reviews on the channel, so feel free to check that one out. Although, you know, probably worse video quality than this one, even though this one's low effort, but that one's probably even worse than this. Ugh, I'm not going to watch it again. You guys can watch it and let me know. Yeah, but this is one that I actually mentioned that I feel like it has a really interesting design. It has a engaging loop to it. Like, it does have something that I feel like some people are going to be driven to come back to again and again and again. Like, I have some friends and I could be like, yeah, you could just continually do this, continually try this out, see where you get in this game. But for me, the game lost its charm after after about 4 or 5 plays. It was kind of like, yeah, this is really interesting. I like the art. I like the style of this game. I find the humor that I was going for, like it's right in the right spot for me. But the repeat plays, it kind of just that charm just fell off a cliff it was like, okay, now I'm just seeing the numbers and I'm not really interested in the theme anymore. The theme doesn't even matter. I'm just reading this and it's like +5 people, -5 people, whatever. Let's just move on to the end. So unfortunately, while I feel like this is actually a really cool design, I want to see this implemented in more games. Someone left a comment in one of my videos about a game that I actively have in my Amazon cart and I'm waiting to pick it up with a similar design with that shared kind of deck building element. And you know, Ivy Studios has Honor's End that was just launched for a shared deck builder, which I'm interested in. So yeah, while this has some interesting mechanics, once again, it's just one that I got bored of a little too fast. So Moon Colony Bloodbath is leaving my collection. And there we go. That is gonna do it for this low effort video here. So let me finish this off with a Labradoodle. See, we got a Labradoodle for the end. She's adorable. We got, if I could get the Border Collie, I would get the Border Collie, but he is a little too rambunctious, let's say. Hey, don't lick me, okay? But yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate you spending your time with me and, you know, sticking around for this video. Like I said, like and subscribe. Don't, maybe wait till one of my little higher effort videos come out to determine if you want to follow along. But that's going to do it for today. So I will talk to you later.